Hi guys, in this verse and in this chapter, the Bhagavad Gita talks about yoga. Now, generally, when we talk about yoga to a person who is just aware of the word yoga, but is not really aware and knowledgeable about the science of yoga, they would generally say that yoga is all and just about stretches and it doesn't have as much hype as people make it out it to be. So here, what is yoga really? Is it true that it is just a series of stretches, or is it something more than what meets the eye? Now, before we talk about that, let's go towards the gym side of exercises for 1 minute. Now, when we take a look at very seasoned and pioneered art of gym trainers, they would always say one particular tip that would be useful for all the people who work out, especially weightlifting. Now, when you're working out, it is important for you to focus at the muscle that you're working out and not let your thoughts deviate, so that physically you're working out for that particular muscle and also mentally you're focused on that particular muscle. So throughout your body is in union towards that one particular workout. Now, where do you think this originated from? This originated nearly 5,000 years back through yoga, where every exercise that you perform, every time you perform breath control, it always acts in a way where you know your true inner nature and you're trying to develop a union with yourself as an individual. See, consider the yoga to be something like a service to a car or a machine to that of the human body. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 6 says that yoga is the road towards attaining mental stability. And the pioneering father of yoga, sage Patanjali, to whom I have described in detail in this video, which you can see right here, has described something known as the Yoga Sutras, which is nothing but tricks and tips on how the yoga process works and how we have to descend down the step-by-step process in order to ascend towards the nature of spirit in life. Now, when we talk about this Yoga Sutras, the premier step is that of Sadhana Pada. Now, Pada literally means path, and Sadhana these are some words from Sanskrit which you cannot give accurate translation or in terms literal translation back into English, but sadhana loosely refers to the work. So the path of work that you choose can be performed through a section of discipline which you can attain through either Kriya Yoga and more importantly through Ashtanga Yoga. Now, Kriya Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga are both very important, and also at the same time they are very distinct to one another. The Kriya Yoga refers to the study of scriptures, the ocean of knowledge that connects us with our very soul and helps us understand how the human body works, how the universe works, and how we can connect both in order to reach a state much bigger than what we currently are. The study of scriptures such as the Vedas, the Advaita Vedanta, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and so on and so forth, which talks about understanding the true purpose of your very existence. When we do this, that brings us on to the second path onto which it is known as Ashtanga Yoga. You see, Ashtanga Yoga has a series of 8 steps within which it is subdivided. Now in Ashtanga Yoga, these 8 steps are starting with Yama, which means restraint, and restraint roughly means a balance between right and wrong and an even-mindedness. Secondly, we have Niyama, which means observances, where we are able to observe the nature around us and the universe around us and our physical and mental movements of our body and channel them towards a divine and cosmic purpose. Thirdly, we have asanas, which is the physical postures and understanding of just the physical body alone. Fourth, we have pranayama, which refers to in English as breath control, where it talks about the right nostril, which covers the sun, the heat, and the left nostril, which talks about the cold, the moon. Now, balancing both balances the breath control, which in turn helps you to balance and attain self-control in life and channel your emotions again towards a spiritual purpose. Fifth, we have Pratayahara. This refers to the withdrawal of senses, where the sense objects are no longer your choice of concern over any walk of life. Now, sixth, we have Dharana. Now here, Dharana and Dhyana are very important as they are highly correlated with one another, because Dharana means concentration and Dhyana means meditation. Without concentration, we cannot have meditation, and meditation is not about sitting in a cross-legged position with 3 fingers on either side and just praying or closing our eyes and channeling thoughts which are wavering in many different directions. When we are concentrating on one object with no distractions, with no alternatives, that right there is meditation on its own. Now, achieving the 6th and 7th step, we finally reach the 8th step, known as moksha or samadhi, as it is mentioned in Ashtanga Yoga, which in most cases is called as liberation, but in truth it is known as absorption of all the initial steps of the Yoga Sutras, where now you're ready to develop the right thoughts in your mind, and all you need is to channel them towards a cosmic or a spiritual purpose in life. The 4th sutra is about the Vibhuthi Padha. The Vibhuthi Padha is about the power of manifestation, and throughout the Bhagavad Gita I said, what is manifested is a lower power, and what is unmanifested is the higher power of the universe and life in general. And the Vibhuthi Padha focuses on how we can channel our emotions towards the true power of manifestation without any alternative choice, and being single and one-pointed in our devotion, in our thinking, in our actions, and every aspect of work that we do and carry out over the course of the physical body. That brings us to the 5th and final stage of the Yoga Sutras. It is called as the Kaivalya Padha. The Kaivalya Padha focuses on practicing the complete art of detachment, as now we are no longer going in search of the true cosmic purpose, but we have attained the true cosmic purpose. Now we can see all these Yoga Sutras and say that it is really hard to perform all these acts in the modern world, which is true. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita offers a rather very simplistic approach to this complicated Yoga Sutras that Patanjali had offered 5,000 years back in the form of these significant yet descending order of steps. The Bhagavad Gita understands the time period that every individual lives their life. Now, if a person is following the Yoga Sutras in the Satya Yuga, it is more likely that they would be able to go through all the stages rather easily. In Dwapar Yuga, it becomes a little bit more difficult than in the Treta Yuga and in the Satya Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, well, it's needless to say how we have been brought up, how we have been used and consumed by the people, the public, and how we think and how we channel our thoughts. Even a little bit of emotion that is being channeled towards the righteous cause would help us attain the land of immortality. And that is why the sage once made a very popular quote which says that he who sees when his eyes are closed is verily a man who has the right vision for this universe. And that alone is what yoga is all about as per the Bhagavad Gita, because such a person does not insist on anything, neither wants or consumes anything, as they have reached a complete place of mental stability. And that's the theme of these verses in chapter 6, which is the first leg of chapter 6 from verse 1 all the way to verse 13. Now, in the next episode, we are going to be covering verses 14 to 17. I hope you guys would stick around for that. And that's a wrap for this particular episode. And I would see you guys in the next episode. Until then, it is goodbye. And as always, thank you for watching.